real estate agent? Are you looking to acquire clients consistently so you can grow your business and your income to live a great lifestyle? This is Dave Finale and the RE Skill Builder Podcast.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho.
Merry Christmas. Here we are. It is December 25th. This is Real Estate Talk TGIF episode 132. We have not missed a week, which is why we're here on Christmas Day, right? And we've got a great broadcast for you today. It's with Jennifer Kuhn, rockstar real estate agent, group team leader. She has JLK Sales Group down in Jackson, New Jersey. This person's got more energy than I even had. She's actually in her office right now.
Yes.
Jennifer, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, and we might have a guest on again, somebody else with us later. Not sure.
Okay.
Jennifer, you've been in the business a long time. You learned out of necessity how to do some things. But I do have a question for you. I start every show the same way, and I ask everybody the same question. So let's see if you can get it right or wrong. I'm going to tell you it's about 90% will get it wrong, so don't worry about it. The question is, what does TGIF stand for?
Thank God it's Friday.
Well, yeah, normally thank God it's finale.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yes.
Thank God it's finale. Here we are. It's episode 132. We've done that in 130 weeks in a row.
Right.
So we could not let Christmas Day go by without doing it and having a great guest, Jennifer. Jennifer, welcome to the broadcast. As I said, tell me about Jennifer Kuhn. How did you get into this business? Why did you get into this business? And how did you start?
Well, I've been in it 16 years, right out of college. Came home from college, and I went and started a job for maybe, 3 months for a construction company that did schools and commercial construction. Lost my job due to the economy. That business shut down, and I talked to my dad. My family's in real estate. My dad's a surveyor. My uncle is a home inspector, so it's kind of in my family. My dad was like, here's $300, go to real estate school. And then that was it. And I loved it ever since. I absolutely love it. So you're very successful now. You're growing a team. You've got a branch office. You've been doing, great things. But was it always that easy for you? No, definitely not. I didn't sell a home for the first 16 to 18 months I was in the business. So I just kind of read books, learned, tried to master the craft, learn the MLS, learn all the systems, try to figure out what I wanted to do. Like this business, you can be a listing agent, you can be a seller's agent, you can be a showing assistant. There's so many things that you can do, and I wanted to find a niche. So I kind of found something that I liked, which was, foreclosures and bank-owned homes. And, I kind of went with there. My second year in the business is kind of when I got into it.
But those are usually things that are not that easy to get into when you're talking about foreclosures and stuff. And you said you didn't sell a home for the first 16 months, whatever. And you learned this, you learned that. I find, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I find a lot of people that actually start doing that because they're just afraid to get started. What was your deal? What happened with you?
Me, I was a little afraid. I was young.
Sorry.
No worries. So I was young. I was scared. I didn't even own a home myself. So I'm like, how can I sell somebody else's home? And I wanted to find out what I wanted to do. I wasn't really comfortable doing like listing presentations for sellers and stuff like that. So I really, started reading books, and I got into, one of my friends was in foreclosure and asked me if I could help them. It just started at the beginning. It was actually when the market was crazy and they,
right.
Going through a difficult time. So that's where the passion came from, was that first short sale that I did.
So you didn't sell him for a while. You got into short sales right away. And was it you just
challenge?
What were you? How did you get your first one?
One of my friends called me, and he was in the military. Just came home, didn't pay his mortgage for a very long time, and said that he had called his bank, and his bank had told him to contact a realtor, that he had to put his house through what was called a short sale, and it had to be listed on the multiple listing system. And I started there, and I kind of just researched it, learned it, and I got it done for him. And it was like challenging. It was very, very challenging. It took, I think it was like 9 months. It was the first one I ever did. I've done over 200 now year to date, but I love the challenge of it. It was like, if you want to help somebody. So you get the reward of helping somebody, you know, financially you get rewarded for it, but it was really the reward of helping them. And I got him out of a really, really bad situation. He was able to move on, and a couple of years later bought a new home. So it's cool.
You know, one of the things I see a lot in real estate agents where they say they want to get into this business because they want to help people, right? And one of the things for you is you've said it a couple of times, to help people, but also as a challenge. Like, and that's where your energy and excitement comes from. Yeah. Where does that come from? I mean, a lot of people, you know, let's face it. I mean, we're born and all of a sudden we're afraid of everything, right? Yeah. And afraid of making a call, afraid of doing this. What about you, Jen? Talk to me about you and where fear comes into it all.
I never would do prospecting. I've never prospected in my life, which is cold calling and stuff like that. But the fact of making a call and somebody that was in foreclosure and not knowing where to go, it was an easy conversation for me to have. It was almost like, right. It was a rewarding conversation. The fact that I could help them was, it just made it easy. But to literally, you know, people sit there and go through speed dials and it's called Mojo, and you call people or expired or for sale banners. It just wasn't for me. But to go and sit down and have a conversation, and, you know, when you go to some people's homes, it's really a bad situation. You know, they lost their jobs. It's, you know, people don't want to go, most people, through a short sale. Right. And when you can go and you can tell them, listen, this is what we can do. We can get a lot of your debt paid. We can get, and then in 3 years you can own a home. It's awesome. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And that started so much more for you, right? You've been with a couple of different companies. Talk to me about getting, I mean, you had a niche in the beginning of your business, as I said, which is not that easy to get into. And, you know, people look at your cross.
Everybody was running away. It was funny because you would sit there and I would take, it was Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and I would have, you know, 32 listings that were all short sales and just going through the process. And I was in an office of, you know, there's probably 80 agents. And everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, that's the worst job ever. You know, it's like horrible. It's so much work and for such little pay. Because my average sale price, I would do 35 to 40 sales a year, and it was like 189. Like, it was, so nobody was like, they were like, oh, there's not enough in it for me. There's not enough. Like, I want to sell. And I'm like, but you get to learn. Like, when you're doing that process, and I mean, it got me to where I am today. I mean, some of the banks and the investors that I work for, they're, you know, I'm able to give them so much more because I'll call up, you know, if there's a lien on the property, I'll negotiate it because I know how to do it. I did it with, you know, all the short sales and everything that I've done. And it was crazy to watch everybody like, oh, or they pay part of their commission to hire a third party or an attorney to do it. Right. You're not learning. Like, what do you tell your client? You know, my clients are life clients that I've done. I built my whole database, to be quite honest with you.
Right. So you got 32, 34 listings that are all short sales. And it's like, you know, people would say, and they looked at you, it's not worth it and everything else. I look at all new agents and they say they don't want to, it seems like they don't want to do anything hard. What drives you, or what drove you back then? And I assume it still drives you today.
Just the challenge. It was really, they're very challenging. I'm very competitive. I think we all in sales are competitive in nature. And the fact of, you know, somebody saying, you know, you walking away and saying it's just never going to happen. I mean, I've had people that were like on the list for sheriff sale, and I would contact them and be like, let me help you. Let me help you. And they're like, it's never going to happen. I'm like, just sit back. Let me just do what I do. And like, just the constant, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's very challenging, but it's very rewarding. I mean, I guess that's really, it drives you. I mean, when you have something that, you know, an obstacle, like you're hitting a brick wall and it's like, all right, I'm finally getting through, and then you break through. It's like, nice.
So talk to me about, some of the trials and tribulations you had over the years of learning stuff, and I mean, ups and downs. Like I said, you know, like most agents with this many years in a career, you might be at a couple of different companies. What were the differences in the companies that you worked for? You don't have to use names or anything. I'm just
no.
What were the differences in them?
So the company that I did my most short sales in was a company that actually offered a service for a third party, because it was at that time, and when I worked with that company, it was the time of the year that it was, you know, a lot of people were in hardship. So I went and got my CDP. I learned that. I did all my credits, you know, constantly educate, you know, try to educate myself in what I am. But that company I did the most with, And I built the most myself, I'm going to say. Like I learned myself, taught myself in that.
Right.
And the next company I went with, that's where I learned to build my brand. That's where I became, took the role from agent to start moving into CEO of JLK Sales Group and to building that way. And to kind of leverage now, it's all about leverage, where I'm at now. It's about, still building the business, but building the brand and everything like that. But the first company I was with, it definitely was more, I taught myself. Second company, they taught me and built me. I mean, I took my business every year and doubled it.
Okay. So let's talk about branding. Let's talk about JLK Sales Group. And how did you start? I mean, a lot of people have come to me that I coach and train, and they say, I want to have a team. I want to do this. And I look at them and say, well, first of all, you have no business. Team. Right?
Definitely.
Reaction. So just your reaction is like what I'd like to do. And I'm pretty blunt, so I know I'm good. But I want to have a team.
I love everybody wants to be a TL. Everybody wants to have a team. Everybody wants to build. I mean, people get into real estate and it's like they've been in here 6 months and they're like, get my team together, let's go. And it's like, in my opinion, you got to have, consistently, kind of maybe over 40 deals. First hire is always an admin. Rockstar admin should be able to do A to Z, everything in your business. And then once you get over, then, you get a buyer's. But if you can't feed your team business, you can't have a team. And people it's actually comical when and you say, and you never say, I would never, I never want to hurt anybody and not let them build their dream. But you're really doing a disservice when you build a team and you bring all these people on and, everybody's sitting there twiddling their thumbs. I mean, you have to have opportunity. You have to have, systems in place. You have to be able to, help them and train them. I mean, I was a coach. I was coaching. I've coached for like over 8 years, probably longer, to be quite honest with you. I have people that I've trained that it's the most rewarding and I have so much gratitude. I get text messages of pictures of them and their family. And, they were teachers, they were this, they were waitresses. And now they're full blown supporting their family, buying homes, able to stay home, made it through the pandemic. Like that gives me goosebumps. That's what you want. You don't want to just have somebody because you can say you can put a label on it,
Right. So let's take one of the words you just used. You're talking about, use the word system, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things I tell agents when they start, when they say, I want to be a team, I ask them a few questions. Great. How much business have you done in the last 12 months? That's the first question. Next one is, do you have your system for buyers written down? You have your system for sellers written down. Mm-hmm. You have let's call it the Dave system. You have the Dave system on how you do this, this, and this. Is it written down? Well, no. What do you mean? He says, well, you're going to bring somebody else in. Don't you want them to do the things your way? Well, what do you mean by that? Can't they just do what they wanted? No. So talk to me about how long it took you to build the JLK Sales Group systems and processes. Talk to me about that, where they've gone along the way and how they've grown.
They grow every day. That's the truth. Every day they change, you implement with the times, with technology. I mean, now we have systems of, Zoom videos and stuff like that. It started first, I built my team. I came up with my team logo, my team name. I got into coaching. That's really what I did. And my coach, I failed. My first team, I fired everyone. I had to start all over. And that's something that you have to understand is you definitely will fail. And if you don't fail, you can't break through the next level unless you have trials and tribulations. And, everybody makes mistakes. There's always something better. If you're, they always say, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. Right. I did I built out my buyer, now we have it in Trello. If anybody uses Trello, it's the best.
Right.
It's my whole system. Just a quick thing. We had our Christmas party and I got the rocket book for, we did the white elephant. And one of the girls that won it went home and it links to Trello. So it's like, I can't wait to see it when we come back into the office. But
so let's talk about Trello and what you just talked about. Then let's talk about what Trello is. So describe it, what it is and how you use it. Because it's a great app. I use it for all my mentees.
Trello is like hands down the best thing ever. I've been using it. It's going to be about a year. So it also links to if anybody uses Zapier. So what we do is the coming soons, everything's systematic. So you want, your 5 levels of marketing, your 5 levels of success of what you want to do. So if we have a coming soon, we go on my phone, not on my phone, but You can go and literally take a picture of a house. Obviously with the REOs that I do, we want to let everybody know that it's coming soon. Goes into Trello, goes to Zapier, and it goes out to the public, and it goes out to all of your social media platforms. Listings, documents, everything is literally on there, and everybody can share it. So if you have people that are on your team that are buyer's agent and your admin and me as the team leader, I want to know what's going on. You communicate that way. It cuts out 40% of emails. Cuts out, it saves time, and everybody's in the loop. It's very, very easy. It's great. It's the best, and it's free. It's free. It's free. It's free.
So you use one Trello board for the whole company, for the whole group?
Whole company. Absolutely. I'd be happy to share it with anybody.
Awesome.
We used to pay for it. And then I'm like sitting there, and there's a company, there's a team with KW that does over 2,000 transactions, uses Trello, doesn't pay a penny for it. I actually, during COVID, during the pandemic, which we're still in, unfortunately, I did a training with his director of operations. She took the time, which was, I sent her like a whole basket to sit there and did a Zoom video with me and just showed me like the next level. It's just an amazing product. I got to tell you, it's awesome.
Yeah. I use it, as I said, I use it for all my mentees and to send them, to keep them. We know in our company, there's so many things that you need to know about when you try to figure it out yourself. It's all out like here, right?
Yeah.
So with with a mentor down in Carolina somewhere, she built it, and I've just augmented it for how I do stuff. And it's great because it's all organized. They knew what they got to do, when they got to do it, when it's got to be done. So it worked out really, really well. So you just talked about White Elephant. Talk to me about that and what happened there, because that sounds like a fun thing.
Oh yeah, we do it. It's just everybody gets, $25 gift. It's her Christmas party, and we all bring it, and nobody puts names on it, and everybody gets something, and then you go and you can steal it, and everybody gets a number, and so nobody. Okay, so I'm a big book person. I genuinely love to read. So when I came, I was a little bit late, and mine was the size of a book because it was the Rocket book, and nobody picked my gift. They all knew it was mine, and nobody picked it. So everybody's stealing. The last one, she had to get it because there was nothing else to get, and she picked it up, and it was like the best gift ever. And I'm like, why didn't nobody pick my gift? And they're like, we thought it was going to be a book. They're like, we thought it was going to be Profit First, to be quite honest with you, because I just made everybody read Profit First, but it was funny. It was a book, but I have to see it because she just texted me and told me it syncs with Trello, so she's like obsessed with it.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So Trello is one thing that it is your business almost, right?
Well, yeah, it was kind of funny because you were talking about using Trello for your mentees, and I'm in coaching now, a different coach, and I actually have a university, which is amazing. They set it up. It's JLK University.
Yep.
We put all the mentees in there. We have a 5-step program in our mentorship. So you get 5 different aspects. 4 of us are licensed. 1 is onboarding. That's the director of first impressions. And then you go through the rest of us, and you go through the university. And I, as the team leader, can see. So my thing is like, if you're engaging and you're killing it, like I want to help you. I want to see what you're having issues with. But that's what's great about the university. It takes them through A through Z. They watch the videos. They write down any questions. They have scripts. And you can do it anywhere. They sit home. You can't sleep at 12 o'clock. You go in the university. And it's great training. And then you just come and we just kind of talk about it. And we go over scripts. It's amazing for anybody. And it's branded to your company. So that's something that I can, when I, get out of the business and you're building, an exit strategy, I have a university, I have a title company, I have all this stuff. It's just great.
That's fantastic. So everybody listen, get into Trello, go check out Trello.
Absolutely.
And a lot of things that both Jen and I would be glad to share with you and how we use it. We use it completely different ways, but almost the same way, so it's like, it can be different, but it's the same.
It's the same. And what's great with my REOs, I do bank-owned properties. I can literally be on the road because all of them are different combos because of all the bank loans and stuff like that. So I'm on the road. I pull up Trello, I type in the address, and I have all the information, whether, what's going on, where it's at. It's, it really could be used in any aspect of your business, we have an organic one and we have a REO one. So it's really great. And it keeps everybody informed so they know what's coming soon, because we have all of our coming soons and stuff like that. And it's cool. I love it.
That's fantastic. So let's sidetrack here and go to a different subject. We talked about you being a team leader and being in coaching and coaching, right? Mm-hmm. Where you have your new people in the university. So when you decided to be where you are now, open your branch, and to do that, why not open your own independent brokerage? Why not a franchise? Could you talk to me about that a little bit?
You know what? That was asked to me from one of my investors that I do, hedge fund. Like, why not? Why not just do JLK? Why go under a brokerage? In the investigation of, the broker that I decided to go with, because it was definitely an option. It was something that I was thinking about doing. I just love the different buckets and the opportunity of, I still want to coach. I still want to train. I still want to do mentorship. I still want to build opportunity. The virtual thing with EXP, it was just a no-brainer. It just kind of all the options that they had and the continued ed. I didn't want to build it all from the beginning. I kind of did want I wanted to be able to have my own thing, which I do, but still have, a safety blanket to kind of pull from and learn from, because, you have a lot of people that are coming with you, and, it's great to have, to explore the whole EXP virtual world and still have that behind, all of the classes. It's just amazing. I wouldn't have that on my own. I would kind of I would have fell into straight REO, and I did like having the organic part of my business still. So,
right. So, what's really interesting is I answered that question to really get behind the thought process of, a lot of people today get their license. They're a good agent, and they want to have their own thing. Because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I had my own brokers for 21 years, right? I had a Century 21 franchise. Everybody knows that mostly. And, there are good things, there are bad things. One of the things that I would never do again is have the responsibility of it, right?
That was a big thing, because I was the only broker that when it was an option, I was the broker. It was just, I'm not knocking,
right.
At all. It just
right.
wasn't something that I wanted to take on. I have my own thing. And what's so funny is people call me and they're like, well, between the two options and where you're going and what you're doing, it's like, you do have your own thing. You build your brand. I'm still building something that I could build an exit strategy and take. I'm still building a brand. It's just brokered and backed by somebody. You still got my everything out there. I'm still, still have my logo. I still have my team. I still have everything. I just have so many more buckets and so many more opportunities. Why put it all on me? Why have the stress of, everything? I mean, it just wasn't worth it for me.
Right.
I have my own thing.
So truth be told, you still have to take out the garbage and make sure there's coffee.
Yeah, I do. I clean my own office. I don't have a cleaning lady.
The reason I say that is I had a buddy of mine, another Century 21 broker, that said, you know what? I don't mind taking out the garbage. I don't mind this. I don't mind that. But the problem I have is people don't want to know that I went away for the weekend. They don't want to know that I've got a fancy car, because they're always going to look at me funny. And I said, well, I never have fancy cars. I don't really go away, so I have to worry about that. And if I do, so what? But there's a lot of different things that people think about. I think a lot of it may even be ego-based, but you can have your cake and eat it too, so to speak. And you're the living proof of that, right? With what you're doing. What is now you have a full team. Tell me about the members of your team and what their specific things. You talked about the 5-step university. You have people involved, 5 people involved in your mentorship, which is really cool. So could you talk about that?
Yeah, the mentorship, it's open to the whole state. So I have agents in Jersey City, up north, down south, everywhere that are in the mentorship program. So I'm a certified mentor with EXP, and we open it up to everybody. We have the platform. I literally, no exaggeration, probably get about 3 applicants a week. We go, I have a director of operations that interviews them, calls them, makes sure that we're a good fit. They're not already on a team. And if they are okay with the way that we run the program, we bring them in. They come in, they meet with me first. Then they go to onboarding. Then we have Olivia that does contract to close and finances. It's big. It's really, really important that when these agents come in, that you let them know they're not paying taxes in the beginning. And a lot of people get in a lot of trouble. And, we kind of set them up to let them know, listen, 70-30, man, 70-30, 2 accounts, take 30%, put in another, because they don't. And on my team, it's mandated. So in your contract, you have to do it. Now, they tell me they do it. I'm not going to check their bank account, but you definitely want to make sure they do it. Then we have a listing, does all listings. And then we have boots on the ground, which is Caitlin. So it's pretty good. That's kind of the systems. And then I have on my REO team, it's all admins and me. So there's no agents involved in that besides my team if they want to show or something like that. And we do referrals throughout the whole state because we have listings everywhere. And then I have an organic team. So any organic listings that I take, I normally put Caitlin, she's my listing assistant on. And then we have 6 buyer's agents, along with Caitlin would be 7.
Okay, so and how long ago did you open your branch?
Like my JLK? It's got to be 5 years now.
What were some of the trials and tribulations of building your team? What were the things that you almost said, screw this, I'm not going to do it?
Oh, I never did that.
Awesome, great.
I never quit. I'm not a quitter. It's just not in my nature. But I did fail, and I accepted the failure, and I said, all right, so let's rebuild. Let's do it right, learn more, get into coaching. I sat with my team leader, and I'll say KW, it's, there's no, and he was absolutely amazing. And he was a huge leader in me building my team. He sat with me for a half an hour before our Tuesday meeting at the office every week, religiously did not miss a meeting, and said, how are we going to do this? He helped me interview. Like I hire anybody, my team, they know it. I can't. And my biggest flaw, which I don't do anymore, is I find a role for everyone. So if you don't like this role, I'll create a role so that I don't have to let you go. Because I'm not very good at firing people. But that was, I was hiring and I was making horrible hires. So then my coach just said, I had Alan, and then I had a MAPS coach said, get rid of everybody. And that's when, we started hiring, and I would listen to him interview, do the disc, do the KPA, read through them. Okay. I'm a D, I'm a high D. There should be no D's in my empire, none. And there isn't, because you don't want to challenge yourself. I have one agent that's a high D. And he's awesome, but I've known him my whole life, so it's okay.
So talk to me about the high D and stuff, and why you wouldn't want others working with you doing the same thing. Talk to us about that for a while.
Well, a high D in the disc is, you're very, you're strong-willed, you're, a leader, you just want to be the center of attention. Like, you really want to be the focal point of the room. You want to be heard. You sit at the front of the table. You want your structure. You want things done your way, or the highway kind of thing. I mean, I have a little bit of I in me, but I'm mainly a D. And then my whole team is S's. Well, not S's. I'm not very good with S's, because S's are sensitive, and I'm a direct shooter. So, that's just my personality. The people around me know it. They don't take offense to it. They know how I am. I don't mean it, just kind of like, all right, we need to get this done, and we need to get it done by 12. But my organization is made up of I's and C's, very structured. If you go in to see any of them, all of their stuff is in the row. Every desk is neat. Mine's a hot mess. That's a D. Cluttered, but.
Yeah, I could show you my desk now, but nobody wants to see it right now, right? Not at all.
But then, there's a saying to that, but.
Yeah. Yes, I know. So all right. So you built a team. You had systems and processes set up. We talked about that. You talked about what kind of people you want, and you said that one of the issues you had was that you hired too quickly.
Mm-hmm. I hired just to hire. Like I would literally hire just like the first person I met. Like I was like, okay, this will still work. And agents. I didn't recruit agents. They
came to you.
Yeah, I attracted them. So my whole team still to this day is all they found me, which isn't, it's awesome. It makes it work better. They, I think they respect me. They definitely they tell me a lot, like, awesome, like, I try to lead them in the right direction. But you definitely admins is hard, because you think that everybody's going to do everything, and then your way is not the way they want to do it. So my team is very young. They're all millennials. So I tried to have no bad habits, so that I can kind of lead them to where I want the systems to go. and we always have open conversation. We're very open. Everybody can have, insight, ideas. I'm not opposed to anybody saying, okay, well, let's try it this way and see if it works. And if it works, we implement it.
So would you say that people like your admin, for instance, that they want to do things their way? Do you think it's important for them to know how you think?
Yes. They know how I think. And my whole thing, all right, so this is the rule of thumb and everybody knows it. The first 6 months, I'm not your friend. I'm here to teach you, to train you, to kind of structure you the way that things should be. Then after that, then I joke with you. So it's not like an initiation. It's almost like, it's weird, but it's like, I'm not there with you yet, but once we're there, then you'll know how I think. So, and once you get how I think, it's like sometimes, one of my admins should be like, just don't even tell her, because it's like, if something like gets missed or whatever, it's not a huge thing. They just go and run with it. It's great. I mean, we literally will go and I'll ask them, hey, listen, did it? And it's like already done. I'm like, blessing. So they're now to the place where they know what I'm thinking. They know what to do. And it's done before I even come in and say, okay, let's go through, because we go through all the contracts and everything like that. And it's
right.
It's a blessing once you get to that level, but it does take. Haley's been with me 2 years. Olivia's been with me 5 years. And Erica's been with me not even 6 months, about 5 months.
Okay.
So we're still in the training.
Right, exactly, because it's 6 months. You're not talking to them yet, right?
No. Not on the, it's good because everybody that's been with me, except for Haley, has been with me since they got into real estate, which is kind of shows that, we are doing something right. People aren't leaving. We don't have turnaround. We're doing something right.
Right.
Exactly. We have a culture and a team. It's like your second family. Like we sit, we eat around the table. We, joke. We have fun. We have cornhole in the back. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a good time. It's great to come to work. Put it that way.
So you were talking before about finances and paying taxes and all that stuff, and I want you to go a little deep with that, because as you know, you mentioned you alluded to it earlier about Profit First, and Mike McAllowitz, the author, was on my broadcast several weeks ago. So talk to me about have you dove, whatever the word is, into Profit First?
Oh yeah.
For your agents. Talk to me about that and what you've done and the changes you've made because of that.
So we actually did the whole office because we're a branch, so we have kind of activities for the branch. Read it in December. We were supposed to go over it with the holidays and everything like that. We haven't been able to have our team about it, but we will next week. Yeah, I set up both of my accounts. I have the don't touch account that I need to drive over to, that I can't have access to, nothing.
Oh, really? You did that, huh?
Oh yeah. Listen, it was, I did it on Audibles. And just hearing it and going back between chapter 5 and 6, it's just, you go back and you reread and you read. And the whole team, I'm like, set it up. I'm like, if you guys can do this now, I mean, they're between, 23 and 28 years old, my whole squad. A couple of them are a little older, but I mean, the majority between my admins and I'm like, if you guys can do this, you can buy into the stock. You can I made them all put 5% into the stock. So my admins are all licensed agents. They can go out and sell, and they do. And they make up the time that they're not here. Everything gets done. That's how systematic and structured that we are, that they can go and do whatever they want, especially with the pandemic. I mean, if anybody didn't know, you can do anything anywhere. And they all set it up and they all have their accounts, and, we named them, expense account, everything's all set up, income, taxes. I do. I'm very, adamant with them about the whole taxes thing. Cause when I first started, I got in trouble. Right. I didn't do it. I didn't implement it. I was young. It was like, and then I owed like 4,900, 5,200 or something like that. And, the IRS I was like hysterical. I'll never forget calling my dad. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, listen, kid, we've all been there. You're a business owner. You're self-employed. And then I never got into that situation again. I didn't know.
Right.
No, most people don't.
Right. They don't, because it's like, oh, I got this money, right? Because it's like, for most agents, Jennifer, it's like this, right?
Yep.
They get a deal, they get a check. Oh shit, I need more business. Then you go back out.
100%. I train on my team with that. I scream. Like I had this one agent, I don't scream, but I do. And he needed an ass kicking every 30 to 60 days. So I knew when it was coming because I could tell by his pipeline. I look at everybody's pipeline and I'm like, and then he would need that phone call and he would need that swift kick in the butt and saying, hey, listen, get out and start doing what you have to do because you're going to hit a downward. And sure enough, he was like this. And then all of a sudden the light bulb went off and now he's steady sailing. So
this is a typical issue. I'm going to say for most of the agents in our business, I'm sure you'll agree, where they get a piece of business, they concentrate on that piece of business, and all of a sudden it closes and shit, they've got nothing else to do.
Yep.
They can go out and say, oh my God, my life is over.
I don't have any business. Well, you've been at the beach. You take off, like agents are known for taking off all December. It's just a thing. Where, and even during the pandemic was a great thing. Like everybody, what's crazy is, you talk to a lot of people and they were like, oh, I didn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. My team, they were hands down, busy, crazy during that. So, but people do, they just kind of they're like, oh, it's all right. I have a closing here. It's like, don't you want, as an agent, I wanted 4 closings a month. That's what I was driving for, but it's in the person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is in the person, but we see so much of it. And we did this thing, right? What I try to do with how I try to get agents myself is, okay, you want to have an up and down business? Great. I'm going to help you have an up and down business, but it's going to go this way. Let it go up and down as you rise.
Nice.
Right?
That's good.
Right. And if they understand it, they're going to do fine, but you can never stop. And I try to tell them, look, if you go to a 9-to-5 job, you get a check at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you going to do in your 9-to-5 real estate job to get a check every week? I believe agents should have a check every week.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what you did. That was your goal. That was what you wanted to do. And you've exceeded that.
Yeah.
You mentioned several times about working during the pandemic, which actually we are still in.
Absolutely.
Earlier today, I spoke to my brother who he runs a hospital group in Rhode Island, and he was talking about the challenges of the second wave, which he did not have the first wave. But there's a lot of challenges, so we still don't know what's going on. So what was different for JLK Group at the beginning of the pandemic to today? What did you guys do differently? What did you change, if anything?
You know what? I don't think we changed anything. I think we're not fearful, and we've just played it very, very safe. In the beginning, I was going and doing videos at REOs and bank-owned property and showing properties, and you were scared to take a video that you were out because you were scared of the backlash. But it's like, this is our job. We were considered, as much as whatever your opinion is on it, essential people. We were allowed to go out. We were allowed to do what we're trained to do. And I think, we lucked out in the area that we're in. I sold my house and bought a house during the pandemic. So I'm one of the people. I left my house in Shrewsbury and I moved back to Jackson. So, and it was crazy. People came in. I had to leave. My brother and my sister-in-law were kind enough to let me live at their house for a couple of months because you couldn't let people go in. I wanted to have a vacant house instead of an occupied house. But you just hustled, just stayed it safe, and it was just crazy. A lot of agents were not doing anything, and let's be honest, they were scared, which granted, I can appreciate that. We just weren't. We were kind of, let's go. I think it might be more of they didn't have kids at home. They didn't have, the things that other people had that, would be fearful, and they just.
Right. So you are in Jackson, New Jersey, and I'm up in Northern New Jersey. So we know what's going on here. Every state has different rules. In New York City, I think the real estate rules are a lot stricter than what we have. And,
Pennsylvania was shut down for 4 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're still not allowed to make phone calls. Right. For us, there was always a debate whether we were essential or not, because our governor couldn't make up his mind or couldn't get a writing out. He would write about everything else, but never about real estate. So, but a lot of states were hurt, Pennsylvania being another one. Going forward, so talk to me about, you guys kept going and you did things in person. Tell me about the virtual work, if any, the digital work that you did that maybe you increased on.
Well, my organic team did virtual. We did, buyer counseling. I did a buyer counseling session virtually, listing appointments. My REO world got shut down. So we were done. Our construction is complete and total halt. And then when they slowly allowed them, it was like, if you could get contractors in there, it was a miracle. They did not want to go in. Masks, gloves, even right now, it's kind of easing up a little bit, for evictions and stuff like that. I had a couple that I was able to do, but they were doing virtual, taking your phone, doing virtual showings. We're still doing that now. But we really, I guess in our area with the clientele that we had, or the clientele that we were working with, I think the rapport was already built. And the people that are coming in, it really isn't making anybody not able to continue to be successful into business.
So you said the foreclosure REO world was shut down. Is it still shut down? And where is that at now? Because I know auctions had stopped for a while.
Yes. So Ocean County opened up about 6 weeks ago. But I mean, the only thing that was sold there, the big news is bamboo, if anybody knows that. But they sell maybe about 4 properties, where when I was going to sheriff's sale, which, I'm going to continue to do, but Ocean County was the only one that's open right now that I'm aware of. I don't think Monmouth County is open again, and the rest of the state isn't. I was buying like 4 or 5 properties a week. Now they're only auctioning off 4 properties, if they even do. So it's a little crazy. It's definitely different. Vacant properties are a lot easier. They can go through, we've been getting assignments lately. We probably have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We have 16 that we're waiting on that are in transition that, are opportunities. So I used to have my off market in the beginning of the year. I had 85 properties that are off market. Off market is something that is coming. It's not on the MLS. It's not on Zillow. It's not anything. So we had 85 between sheriff sales and REO properties that were in construction, occupied, all of this stuff. And it was just crazy. It was like, and now we have like 40. So it's definitely different times.
So you say in construction for an REO or foreclosure. What do you mean by that?
We have contractors on site that are doing construction on home. So
they're doing renovations? You're doing renovations on them?
Do renovations, yeah. We renovate most of my inventory gets renovated. We do, values on that. When I get them assigned, I go, I evaluate them, and then we have contractors go and rehab them from, whatever. Depending on where the asset's at, we kind of do after repair value and have the contractors go in there. So we have a couple now that are in renovation.
So go through your process and how you help someone that's in foreclosure and what you do for them. Talk about that. So if anybody's watching or listening, or they could actually send this video to somebody to help them out with that. Tell me about that.
Okay. So when somebody's in foreclosure, you have to be at 30 days or more of your late, payment. We go there, we take, you give me a third-party authorization. I take your mortgage statement and I kind of do the rest. We contact the bank, we get a BPO done, which is a broker price opinion. And then we find out what the true market value. Honestly, we usually drop it 20% of what your value is. We like to we try to, keep it an arm's length transaction, but sell it ourselves to one of our investors. That way you have like-minded people that understand the process and what they're getting into, because buyers coming in when they're buying short sales. And I think that's where the stigma came from, is you had agents that were taking them that really didn't know the process, and they weren't educating them. And they're like, 9-10 months to do a short sale. I get my approvals within 30 days. My first one, absolutely. My second one, my third one. After the third one, I got the system down. I'll collect the package. I do a report. I do everything. We do a hardship letter. We get bank statements. We send everything in. I'll tell you how to set up your bank. I don't know if I should say that, but I'll tell you how you do that to make sense of.
You're going to explain the process, plain and simple.
Yeah. So you're pretty much going to make sure that you're not showing that you have, $100,000 in the bank and you're saying, I can't pay my mortgage. So that's kind of where we collect all the paperwork. I send it in. I call Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to get updates. And that's it. We can get relocation if you're occupying the home. If it's an investment property, I can still do them. We just don't want tenants in there that are, active, that you can't keep people in the house. If you're in the house, it's a lot easier. It doesn't really matter how underwater you are. It's all in the numbers. It just has to make sense to the bank.
Awesome.
And your credit will be back. Your credit will be good. You could buy a new home in 3 years. You can actually buy, I'll be honest with you, I did one. She bought a new home through me 8 months later. Her interest rate was very high. Then once she hit the mark, she sold that. She's bought 5 homes through me. We refied her, got her, where she needed to be, and now she's good to go. But she did buy a home 8 months later, conventionally.
So what's the difference between a foreclosure, bankruptcy, short sale? Is there an advantage from one to the other? What is it?
You definitely would want to do a short sale. You definitely do not want a foreclosure on your credit. It is a little bit harder when you're going for financing. Short sales it relieves you from the debt. So sometimes you will get a 1099 from the bank. Your accountant I don't know if it's still in place now, but there was a law that forgave you for that debt. So it really wasn't held against you. Sometimes you had to hold it as income. In the beginning, sometimes you had to do promissory notes, like a 15-year promissory note of $10,000 or something like that. That's the thing is I would get them approved, and people were very, divorce is pretty much a guarantee to get it approved for a short sale. Death of a spouse, 100% guaranteed. Sometimes you would have a husband and a wife, and it was the mortgage was only in the husband's name, and they wanted out because the location area just wasn't feeling it anymore. There's certain avenues that you can do, and we would sit down, and that's where I come in, and I guide you as to what hardship you're going to file for. I don't like my home anymore is not going to win, but there's other ways, and that's where it comes in. Oh, believe me, I've heard it. Well, I really want to go to that school district. Yeah, no, we're going to tell them you're getting a divorce.
Exactly. So Jen, it's been a great broadcast. So how do people get in touch with you to help for you to help them? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, you can always call me. 732-300-5630 is my cell, or you can come to our office. We're located in Romeo's Plaza in Jackson, New Jersey. It's Ocean County. Everybody knows it is Great Adventure, but stop in. We have pop-ins all the time. It's actually awesome. We have agents throughout EXP, friends. I grew up here, so people know who I am, and they pop in just to say hi. So email me, Jennifer@JLKSalesGroup.com.
Awesome. So you and I met recently at a couple of meetings we've had with other like-minded people, and you found out that if you came on the show, you could get one of these.
And I can't wait.
Right. And you earned your hat today, so the hat will be put out to you. So, but that's why you came on. That's why everybody comes on the show.
Absolutely. I love hats.
What's that?
I love hats.
Well, I know, right? Everybody does, because that's why they come on the show. They're not coming on for me. I get it, But Jennifer, there's one question I ask everybody at the end of every broadcast. And it's
I got the first one wrong, so I better get this one right.
No, this is a good one, right? So it's basically what can I do to help you grow your business?
You just did it. It's awesome. You give opportunity every week, and it's amazing. We build, and just by doing this, I watch your broadcasts all the time. And I guess it's a takeaway every single, event that, we do on Zoom and stuff like that, through all the training and everything like that. If you get one thing out of it, it's worth whatever you put into it. So I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you having me on Christmas.
Thank you so much for coming on Christmas Day. Not everybody wants to do it. And, you mentioned something earlier about, a lot of people take the month of December. I think they actually take November and December off. But this is proof that we don't stop. It's December 25th. And actually, for me, I actually call today New Year's Day, because it's the birth of something else, and I just move forward with it. And to me, it just makes a lot of sense. And I've got momentum going because my business plan was done November 1st.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Oh, yeah.
Right?
I went to my coach earlier. He was like, Jen, I didn't even ask you for your business plan. I'm like, it's done.
It's done, absolutely.
We did it as a team. It was awesome. Everybody implemented, and yeah, good. I'm with you.
So that's one thing I just want to add is that, I was able to build my business plan, and I've implemented things, and things that didn't work, I stopped using, but I am ready. I'm moving up. I've made all the corrections in my implementation process, still going with my other business, and it's ready to double and triple what I did last year. So, everybody needs to look at that. Jen, I want you to stay on as we go out.
Okay.
So much again, and everybody, JLKSalesGroup.com, Jennifer@JLKSalesGroup.com, and you know what? It's been great. Anybody have any questions? Reach out to me. Reach out to Jen. We're both available on social media, and I just want to thank everybody for being with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Everybody.